Alright y'all, just got a package in today from Amazon. I ordered 8 steak pockets, pre-made already, 3/16 thick. 35 bucks for 8 of them. I'll take it. It's cheap. You can even buy the metal and cut it yourself for cheaper than that. But they fit really well. I got this piece of 3/16 angle iron, 2-inch. This is some leftovers from my Cutz that I made earlier to make the frame of the bed. And I need one more piece to make the bottom of my headache rack to bolt onto the frame. And rather than go and buy some more metal, I'm just going to cut these 2 drops and weld them together. Alright, just like that. Now I got a piece that's long enough. Weld it together, grind it down, you never know the difference. Alright y'all, I'm working at night, so I hope y'all can see this. But as you can see, or you might not be able to see, I've got a piece of angle iron, 3/16, 2-inch, bolted. I just have it self-tapped for now, but I'm going to have some 1/2-inch bolts going in there later, 4 of them. And that's where my headache rack is going to bolt to the front bottom of the bed. And then I'll have some gussets that'll be welded to the bed and bolted to the headache rack, because in case it does get in an accident or something gets bent, I'd like to be able to unbolt it and repair whatever got damaged. So I've got the angle iron on there. You see where it stops, and I'll show you what next I did. Alright, so hopefully you can see this. What I did is I notched out this 2x4 square tubing, like so, all the way through, and it goes all the way down. And what I'm going to do is weld it to that angle iron, and I'll probably reinforce it some more once it's, you know, on there. So I'll show you what I'm doing next. So that's pretty much where it's going to sit. And what I did is I made a slice with the chop saw all the way through, and I'm going to make a few slices consecutively, and I'm going to bend it to where I need it to go, and then once I got my angle I need, I'm going to weld it back. I haven't seen people really do that approach, but I'm going to try it. So this is what I'm basically doing, just taking the chop saw, and I'm going to try cutting it probably 3/8 of an inch apart. I'm going to make 3 cuts, and then I'm going to bend it to see if I can get enough angle that I'm looking for. Just so a reference point, it's roughly about 20 inches is when I started doing the bends. You can see where the cuts are. That's up from the bottom of the tube up. Just with those 3 cuts, I got a pretty good bend on it. It's probably only half the distance I needed to bend, so I'm going to do 3 more pie cuts like that. Not really a pie cut, but a slice, I should say. And I'm just going to continue to go this way and see what it does. The way I bent it was I just used the back of the bed, you know, because it's just structured. There's no boards there, and I stuck it into the piping, and just, you know, I found something to where I could just pry on it, and it bent really easy, one hand, easy. So let's see what I can get with this. So that's where it's going to sit pretty much, like so. Maybe bend it in a little bit more. What I might do is start making a bend right there, you know, where it gets to that corner where the black separation is. Maybe do another bend there like I did here. So I made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cuts. I probably could have got away with 6 of them, but just because I did 7 on this side, I'm gonna do 7 on the other. It looks a little ridiculous because it's so tall. Once we start making that bend at the top of the glass, that mark there, it should look pretty good. Alright. On the truck, and I looked at it, and from this point to about the 2 foot mark is when it starts bending again at the top of the corner of the glass. So I'm going to do probably about 6 or 7 like this to get it to bend again. Keep in mind, doing this process eats up these things pretty much, and these are like $15 a piece, so probably going to go through one of these for just a headache rack at least. Another thing, make sure you wear your mask doing this, because that stuff gets airborne. So you want to make sure you don't go all the way through, but about up to there. I've been cutting them about 3/8 of an inch apart. So I only made 4 cuts in it. I got 7 right here, but I figured I'd check it. I don't want to put more work than I have to, but this is how I've been bending it. It doesn't take much effort. Got a pretty good bend there. How's that looking? Can you get behind it? Behind the truck?
Looks like he's getting there.
As you can see with my cuts, I've been going this way with it. I think I'm going to come down this way, because if you look, the bend needs to happen a little lower. So I'm going to do that. So pretty much I need a harder angle to go real hard at the top. And I don't want to make that many pie cuts because I'll have to weld all that shut or close this in somehow. So I think I'm going to just go ahead. I put a square on it, a speed square, and I just did it at a 45. And I'll replicate the other side the exact same way and then go from there. I would just cut it with that. Alright y'all, so that's pretty much what it looks like on that side. I'm going to go ahead and tack weld all the cuts that I made to hold that shape, and I'm going to replicate it one for this side. I'm going to make it just the same, and the bar that connects the two on the top, it's going to go just above where the third brake light is, so you're going to be able to see red all the way around the window, kind of like an outline of the window. At least that's what I'm shooting for. All right, there's a view from the side. So basically what I did is I tacked each one, but I didn't, do 1, 2, 3. I kind of skipped around because I don't want to put too much heat in one area. it might warp it or twist it. It did all of them like that. I just kind of skipped around everywhere. And what I'm gonna probably do is just do a little piece here, then I'll go over here and do a little piece here, let that one cool down. It'll be a slow process, but at least it won't pull or warp. I'm also gonna check this periodically on the truck to make sure it's not moving on me. So this is what I got so far. I just kind of jumped around and went all over the way. It didn't get too hot. And before I finish, I'm gonna keep checking it, make sure it's not pulling it, and letting it cool down a bit, because it's pretty warm right now. Check it one more time. Looks about right. Looks like it's staying still. I'm gonna go ahead and weld some more on it. So I pretty much got all that part welded, letting it cool down before I do the sides. I might actually wait to do the sides till I replicate the other side. That way I'll have a reference point on where to measure, on where to make my slices. But I'm gonna check it one more time. It's very hot right now. I'm also gonna wait to grind it all down until it completely cools, because I don't want to warp the metal. It's only 1/8 inch thick, or 11 gauge, something like that. So let's see how that works. Come over this way. Looks like it's holding. I'm looking at the gap between the window and the bar, and it's pretty much the same. So basically all I did was measure from the end of this to here, which I think came to almost 20 inches. And I just made my first cut, and I counted how many I went. And I think it's 7. Yeah, I did 7 slices in this one. So I did the same thing here, about 3/8 of an inch apart. And I did the same thing over here. I counted, I think I have 9 of them. Did the same amount there. Now all I have to do is bend it. I'm trying to let it cool down a little bit, because it's kind of hard to touch, even with gloves. But I'm going to go ahead and bend it to the same as this. It doesn't take much effort to bend it either. That's pretty close right there. And then I'm going to turn it around and do the same thing on this side. You don't want to put this part on this, because it might hinder it. I'm putting it like right here. I'm pretty sure I went as far as I could with that one, but I'm going to see. That's pretty close, huh?
Looks like it.
So now all I got to do is go 3/8 of an inch from right here, put my 45 on it, cut it out with my angle grinder, and then weld this one up like I did this one, grind this one down, and probably let it cool down and finish it off. It's really not that much work. It's not that hard to weld those back shut, because they're so close together. I mean, you pretty much just pull the trigger, and granted they don't look very pretty, but when you grind all that down, you'll never see it. It's going to look like one continuous curved piece. I'm happy with that. Alright, got them on top of each other, and they line up just right. Looking good. Now all I gotta do is weld that side up just like that one, let it all cool down, and then grind them down, and I'll come back and do the sides. Alright, so we got them all welded up. This pipe is very, very hot, even with the gloves. That's all I gotta say. I skipped around so it didn't get overheated, but this whole thing is very, very hot. But it's all welded through and through, all the way around this side too. I'm gonna go ahead and grind it down. Alright, y'all, so I've been grinding for about 15 minutes, I guess, on this. It's pretty hard to get it perfect. As you can see, it's got some little dimples in it. I'm gonna sand some more on it, grind. But look at that outside. That outside looks nice. Alright, y'all, so I'm calling it a night. I've been grinding for about 30 minutes, I guess. I started off with this kind of aggressive one to kind of get the majority of it off. And then I resorted to this, which polished it out pretty good, but it still has a few little, little crinkles in it. So I'm gonna sand on it tomorrow some more, see if I can get most of it out.
Tomorrow.
Alright, y'all, so I went ahead and sanded on it some more. Looks a whole lot better. Apparently you just need the right tool for the right job. And I've got this big old grinder here, but I didn't have one of these. So I'm gonna get, it's either a 60 or 80 grit flap disc 7-inch from Harbor Freight. It was 15 bucks, but well worth it, because I got a lot of it out of there. So this is what it looked like before, after sanding on it for about 30 minutes. And that only, it only got it to that point. So that only took like 10 minutes. All right, off to the next. Alright y'all, so another thing I did to the tire, spare tire mount, as you can see it kind of moves just a little bit. But whenever you get going down the road, I don't know if it's because the bed's not fully complete yet, but it just starts rocking a lot. So what I did is I went ahead and picked up one of these turnbuckles. I think that's what they call them. At Track Supplies, like 20 bucks or something. And I had one of these laying around, just a chain link or a hook for a chain, I think it was. Got it in place. Looks like it's gonna work good. The only thing I have to do is turn this. If you turn it one way, it gets tight. If you turn it the other way, it gets loose. So it's getting tight this way. And you just do it as much as you can by hand. And if you want it to be a little tighter, just put your screwdriver on it, like so. You give it 2 or 3 turns. And that's very tight. So that shouldn't be too much of a problem, as long as when I do my boards that I have enough room in this area, which I should, because the tire has to come out that way. So we'll address that when he gets there. Alright, so this is where I ended up doing it. Put it at the top up here, and I just stuck the screwdriver through the turnbuckle to tighten it up real tight. And got it hooked just like this. And it doesn't move at all. So that's going to work out good. What do y'all think? I'm thinking I like it. Just gotta go ahead and connect those two together, tack everything together. So, I don't know if you can see where I got the self-tap screws going through there. I'm gonna pull those out and make the holes half-inch holes. And put some half-inch grade 8 bolts through them. You see them poking out. That's where they're gonna go. This is gonna get welded to the angle iron, and then after everything is built, I'm gonna go ahead and reinforce the headache rack. I'm gonna make some gussets right here, and it's gonna be welded to the flatbed. It's gonna be bolted to this point, but the gusset will. That way I can remove this if I want, if something gets damaged or bent. Alright y'all, so I got the truck pulled up close to the shop, that way my welding machine will reach easily. Got my negatives off my battery, got my shield here. The only problem is it's very windy today, so I'm going to have a little issue welding, but luckily I'm only tacking it in place. So what I'm going to do is just put 1, 2, 3 tacks on this side and maybe 2 on this side. That way I can take the magnets off, turn the truck around, do the same thing on the other side. Alright y'all, hopefully you can hear me over all this wind out here, but got it tacked, well I got it welded on I should say, on both sides right here and right here. Looks pretty cool. I'm liking it. Nice. Alright, I'm still working on the headache rack. I got my 2 vertical pieces on the sides. Now I'm working on the horizontal ones. One above the window and one below it. The one below it is right at 6 foot long. And the top is 51.5. So the only problem with that is I don't quite have enough metal. So I have enough for the bottom, which is 6 foot. I cut that and I was about 3 inches shy. So I went ahead and welded an extension on it, grind it down, and cut it at 51.5 for the top, because I'm not about to go just buy a whole piece for it the way the prices of metal are. So let me grind this down and cut the top. Alright y'all, so just backed up and to tack the bottom in, but I have to make a cut on the top, so I'm going to pull the truck forward for now so I can make a bunch of sparks cutting this one. But yeah, that's what it's looking like. I'm going to get her to pull up, and then after I'm done cutting, I'll pull it back. Alright y'all, so we just got the top piece just sitting in there. It's not tack welded yet, it's just kind of sitting, so might have to tweak it just a little bit as I'm welding, but that's the general look of it. So let's see if I can show you this. Right there, I gotta fill that with some scrap metal when I'm done, when I'm fully welding it. So we unbolted the headache rack, brought it inside. I'm gonna go ahead and fully weld it in. So after it's all fully welded in and grinded and every little thing is finished on that, I'm gonna have a piece of either 3/16 or 1/4 inch plate welded right here, this little rectangle. I'm probably also going to have a piece of flat bar going across here, about 2 inches tall, and I'll probably do the business name, get that cut out in it on the plasma cutter. And probably every, I don't know, 4 or 6 inches, I'm gonna have a bar probably about this diameter, probably like 1/2 inch to 5/8. I'm gonna have some bars that go all the way across, and then probably 2 flat bars going here and here, supporting the middle. But yep, that's what she's looking like. Right here, I'm just going to go ahead and fully weld it, grind it real smooth, and round it out. It should look nice. Alright, y'all stay tuned. Alright y'all, I'm tired of welding and grinding. I think I'm calling it a night. So, it's looking good though, getting it cleaned up. Got some of the welds grinded down. I'm not satisfied with that one. I'm going to grind it down and fix that. Same here. Clean that up a little bit. So this is the front of the flatbed. Obviously the headache rack's upside down, but this part you're going to see in front of the bed. So I'm going to cap all of that off right here, clean that up. Probably going to leave this open and this open for wires and such to pass through. And I still have the 1/4 inch plate or 3/16 plate to weld into here, and I have my bars that have to go across here, so a lot of work left to do on it. Same here, I'm going to cap this off, close that up, clean it up. So until, I also have these I have to cap off where I cut my angles to make it fit. Got to close those up. Debating on if I want to drill my hole for my lights and run my wires, or run something that won't melt or burn while I'm welding to where I can pull it through later. I'll have to see. Y'all stay tuned.